Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're giving you our Week 10 fantasy football waiver wire pickups. We're here to help you figure out who you need to target on the waiver wire and who you should probably avoid. Let's start this fantasy football podcast right now.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Fantasy Football Upside. I am Justin, that is Kyle. Thanks for dropping by our Fantasy Football podcast and YouTube channel. These two knuckleheads, we appreciate that. Yep. But hey guys, every week we are going to give you the players you need to target on the waiver wire, which we are going to do today for Week 10. We're hitting double digits already, Kyle.
Oh, jeez.
Holy cow.
Yep.
Flying by here.
Yes,
flying by. But we're going to help you find the value in players that maybe some others might avoid or might overlook. So follow along so we can help you win that championship. Boom. Oh, you hit it. Perfect,
yeah.
Kyle.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's going to be a good episode, everybody.
I'm wearing the wrong shirt for that, right? I've got the goat shirt on, but I need the quote shirt, the "That's What She Said" shirt.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah. All right, guys, click that like button while you're here. If you want, you can go ahead and hit that subscribe button as well as the bell. That way you're notified every time we upload a new episode. We try to get some live episodes in there. We've been struggling a little bit. Our schedules are not lining up perfectly. Yeah, and lives. Yeah, lives are cutting into our live streams. So, all right. So we're talking about what is it? Waiver wire pickups, right? Yeah.
Yep.
So, hey, 60% or less rostered over at Yahoo. It's just the metric that we use. So if they're less than 60%, they're eligible for this list. And we're going to talk about those guys who are less than 60% who you need to be targeting right now on your waiver wire. So let's get moving here. And if you have a question, feel free to drop that comment down below and, just raise your hand there and say, little help now. That's right. And then we'll probably ask back. Because, that's how we do it. That's what we do. All right, guys, here we go. Week 10, waiver wire, fantasy football, waiver wire pickups. Let's talk about running backs. What do you got at running back, Justin?
Yeah, before we get really started here, we are recording during Monday Night Football, very end of it. So you might see both of us kind of look up a little bit. We're trying to bring you this upside information as well as to see what happens here at the end of this random game here, man.
Yeah.
But all right, at running back, I have Ramondre Stevenson, New England Patriots, 6% rostered. He came off of 106 total scrimmage yards last week. He did come out, so definitely take a look at this. He came out with a head injury after getting kicked in the head. So take a look at the status. Like you do in normal football games, you get kicked in the head. But as long as he clears,
my high school had a janitor that actually had like a hoof print indented into his head. He took a donkey kick.
We're getting closer and closer to the holidays, so with cousin Eddie, it's fine right here.
It's fine on this side, but on this side, my hair just ain't gonna part right.
Yeah, you just can't get around the microwave.
My part just ain't gonna lay right. That's what he says, right? What does he say? She'd turn on the microwave, I'd pee my pants, and lose consciousness for 2 hours.
Other than that, it's fine.
Other than that, it's fine.
But anyways, back on Ramondre. If he clears for Week 10, he does offer some flex appeal. But you know what? This guy's made a ton of waiver wire lists in the previous weeks, including ours and including others. And then Bill Belichick will come out and healthy scratch him next week. That's just Bill Belichick because he hates fantasy football and he hates
does. He's
listening.
He's listening to us. He's like one of the 30 people that listen to us.
Right.
And so he's like, what are they saying? I got to do the opposite. I got to do the
write
opposite.
That down.
Yeah. Here we go.
Write that down.
All right.
I can't see that really moving forward, though. I really can't. I mean, he's shown that he is valuable in this offense. Damian Harris has been playing hurt for quite a while now, and Brandon Bolden it's a good story in fantasy football right now, but the guy's been mainly a special teamer for the last, 8 years for the Patriots. So I think Ramondre, like I said, has some decent flex appeal moving forward.
Yep.
What you got?
All right. Well, hey, I got Jordan Howard.
Blast from the past.
Yeah, blast from the past here. Jordan Howard, 14% roster, which is actually higher than Ramondre, I think, right? You had him at 6%, I think, there. Yeah, which is surprising. Yeah. Jordan Howard's 14% rostered. I think he's gotten probably all 14% in the last week. And the reason is because, hey, over the last 2 weeks, he's had 29 carries. So he needs to be rostered in almost any league depth except for maybe 8. You don't do it. And why are you in an 8-man league? 10-man league, yeah, he should probably be a consideration sitting on somebody's bench. But 12-man or higher, I would bet that he needs to be considered as a possible roster and lineup guy, actually. So look, the volume is just undeniable at this point. In week 8, he finished as running back 9. In week 9, he finished as running back 10. So, hey, Justin, help me with the math here, but I'm pretty sure week 10 means he'll be running back 11, right? And then week 11, he'll be running back 12. So you got at least 2 more weeks of running back 1 out of this guy.
I think you're just going to get enough value all the way through.
Yeah, all the way through the rest of the season. There you go.
You can't beat up those. What are they?
What is it? Oh, all the
statistics.
Yeah, you got to stick with those statistics. Yeah, it all makes sense. Statistics. Yeah. So look, hey, I think that my math checks out on that one. I think further though, what really matters here is that they, for whatever reason, don't want to put these other running backs out there. They're just going to have Miles Sanders gone, and they're just going to keep holding back Boston Scott, holding back Kenny Gainwell, holding back anybody and everybody who is not Jordan Howard, who somehow still has a job with the Eagles 3 years after everybody thought he was gone. He sat on the practice squad actually for a bit.
Yeah.
Just knew his time was coming. I guess he knows Miles Sanders better than the rest of us. I mean, they were on the team together for a year or so, 2 years actually. Seriously, look, this offense is not good, but the defense needs the running game to work. So they're just more than happy to keep trying to run it out there whenever they can. And you know what? I hate this, but it's real. Jordan Howard. It's a thing still. I absolutely hate this. So, yeah. There we are, guys.
Good.
No, not at all. All right, so we're not bringing you a quarterback this week, actually, guys. So we are going to double down on wide receiver each. We've got four wide receivers here for you. Lots of names, lots of reasons to pick up different guys. So, Justin, hit me with your first one.
Brandon Aiyuk, 53% rostered. Boy, the mighty have fallen.
Yeah.
And let's see if we can pick this guy back up, and that's what he's been doing right now. He's more catches, more yards, and touchdowns than Debo last week. He had 1 touchdown, but granted, he did. Did you have sound like? Oh, you got the sound drop. Thank you.
Yeah.
But,
I dropped that sound in there.
There it is. But finally, this guy has come around. First round pick of last year, finally coming around this season. So 8 targets last week and then 7 the previous week that they played. So consistent targets means great value for a guy that was dropped by a lot of teams out there. This guy was probably drafted in the top 6-7 rounds in fantasy this year. And then now you're looking at a guy that's barely 50% rostered. So he's been in the doghouse for most of the year, but Shanahan has talked recently about how he is practicing better and how he is learning to be a professional footballer. So you definitely take that in mind because he fumbled in the second quarter of week 9 earlier than the season.
I mean, Shanahan's lying, right? I mean, that's what he does. He's worse than Bruce Arians. He is intentionally lies. Like at least Bill Belichick just shuts up. Like he just doesn't say anything and just lets you believe what you want to believe. Bruce Arians, for the most part, this guy's great. And then he's cut like literally an hour later. But Shanahan just straight up lies. Like,
well, okay, here's the thing. He fumbled in the second quarter of week 9. Earlier in the season, he would have been benched for the rest of the game. He wasn't benched for the rest of the game. George Kittle played this game. So, they had some pass catchers out there. So I do think it's coming around. I mean, you can't deny what he did last year as a rookie. I do think he just put on way too much weight, and that's what they've mentioned as well. And he just hasn't been able to practice the way he needs to practice when it comes to how hard he is practicing. That's basically what they're saying, and I think he's finally figuring it out.
Yeah.
Whenever Debo's getting all the attention.
Yeah. Well.
But that's what I got on Brandon Aiyuk.
Yeah. All right. So I've got Rashad Bateman. This guy's been on our list. He's been living on our list for a little while, actually. I don't even know how many weeks this dude has not been rostered enough. We've been telling you, and this might be one of the last chances you really get. He is 36% rostered right now. Don't, in my opinion, chase the points with Elijah Moore. Now, he's, spoiler alert, you might hear that name later, but Rashad Bateman is a guy that right now I would put the two of them kind of up there as far as guys that you should be targeting. I think with Elijah Moore, you're going to pay up for him because he's had this point explosion. So Rashad Bateman's a guy you can get affordably at this point. So go get a guy who's going to be consistent. I think he's going to be consistent here. The thing that he is getting is consistent targeting. The offense isn't going to blow the doors off with number of passes that they throw. However, Lamar Jackson has been staying in the pocket and throwing the ball more often. And I think there's a lot of different reasons for that. The number one is they just don't have a running game outside of Lamar Jackson, and he needs play action to be able to be effective both in the running and the passing game. And so they're sticking with the running game right now. They're sticking with the passing game right now, and they're trying to hit the shorter passes to take their shots. But the running game's just not effective for them, so they're using that short passing game. That's resulting in a lot of targets to Bateman. He's been a back-end wide receiver 3 the last 2 games that they played. And he's also seen 20 targets over the last 3 weeks, or the last 3 games that they've played. So he's, that's passable. That's not great, but what do you expect out of a rookie in a low volume passing offense that's only just sort of starting to feel like it needs to pass? And it's only ticking up in the second half of the season. And this is why I like Bateman more than I like Moore, because I think that this offense is designed in such a way that it will not exceed the capabilities of Lamar Jackson. And as a result of the switch of this team, it's kind of going into that passing mode. They're signaling that they need to pass more. I mean, it's just what's going on. We've been signaling that you need to pick this guy up. So this is really your last chance to get him on your roster for that playoff run. So I would say run out there and get him. Look, this defense has kind of been getting exposed a little bit, and as a result, they're having to pass a whole lot more. So look for Bateman to keep having that stuff tick up. He's just 1 touchdown or so away from having a blow up game for you guys. So that's what I've got. What do you have, on the spoiler alert there, right?
Yeah, right. So you just poo-poo all over my guy.
Oh, yeah.
We got Elijah Moore, 21% rostered. But this is another rookie wide receiver that was hurt at the beginning of the year. So it means his draft stock was plummeted.
Well,
so
wait. His draft stock plummeted, but what team does he play for?
Go ahead, hit it.
The worst.
That's right. That's draft stock didn't go anywhere. It's right where it was supposed to be the whole time.
I liked Elijah Moore coming out of college.
And then he got drafted by the Jets.
Poor guy. But Elijah did go off in primetime during Thursday Night Football game. I know whenever we did the start-sits matchups for Thursday Night Football, I did put in a little nugget because you did have him as the startable asset in fantasy football. But my little nugget was the fact that, the Colts can be exposed on the outside because Jamison Crowder is back. He plays primarily in the slot. That's where he's going to live. Well, Elijah Moore is good enough to play on the outside, and that's what he did. He exposed Xavier Rhodes, and he did it constantly. And he also did it with 2 different quarterbacks because he got a touchdown pass from Mike Mother Trucking White and also from Josh Johnson. So he was able to do it with both quarterbacks. It does look like Mike White will be the quarterback for Week 10, and it does look like they have a pretty good connection going.
Yeah.
Corey Davis did miss Week 9 with a pretty nasty hip injury. I mean, he was doubtful for the game, so it wasn't really any chance that he was going to play, but they do say that he may play here in Week 10, so that does kind of hinder his outlook just a little bit. But, I mean, we're missing the days of rookie wide receivers really, taking that whole year to develop. Well, that's not really the case anymore. These 2 guys, Rashad Bateman and Elijah Moore, they're coming around right now at the best time, and that, you're going to get lucky in the fact if this guy is still available as well as Bateman, is for the fact that they were hurt at the beginning of the year. That stunted their growth. Now you're seeing their growth right now. So he's rounding into the form, perfect time of the year. Pick him up if you can. I will note that this is not the greatest matchup here for Week 10 because they do play the Bills. And the Bills should be pretty pissed off by ruining most
it's also the
Survivor
Jets.
picks.
Yeah.
It is the Jets. But here's the thing. If it's Mike White, I actually have a lot more faith in Mike White than I had to Zach Wilson now.
Yeah.
And they're playing from behind. I don't care if it's junk yardage. I don't care if it's, this is fantasy football, folks.
Oh, yeah. It's just like Jalen Hurts, right? Nothing but junk. garbage time
good fantasy
accumulated
football
points.
asset right there.
Yeah, there you go. It sounds like a home run hitter right there. All right. And then, hey, I got Jamal Agnew, who plays for the Jacksonville Jaguars. He's 10% rostered. So 9 out of 10 of you are going, who? Look, the targets are there, but the offense isn't. That's the problem. So, he's getting all these opportunities, but he's not producing a ton of yards. Eventually, that's going to kind of square. And look, the reason that this guy's getting more and more yards is that Shenault was out for a little while, right? And now Chenault's coming back. Chenault's not taking that spot back. Why? Because that role that Shenault was playing in was the hybrid, like running back wide receiver role that Percy Harvin played for Urban Meyer at Florida. And you got to be a faster guy than Shenault. He's just not built for that. He's actually built more like a traditional like slot guy than he is anything else. And so you're looking at a guy who's just not going to get that job back because Jamal Agnew fits it perfectly, actually. So that's really, really kind of good for the situation. You got a guy who's 10% rostered, and he's going to continue to get volume that a lot of people were really impressed with Shenault at the beginning of the year. So Agnew is seeing 7.5 targets a game recently, and he's showing up as a startable play 50% of the time over the last couple weeks. He's had 30 targets over the last 4 games. That's a heck of a big number right there, guys. So
bad for a who guy.
Yeah. So that, hey, 9 out of 10 people are sleeping on this dude. Go run and get him. Just needs to find the end zone for you, and he's going to have a great day then. Like it's been bonkers actually. I waffled about whether or not I would include him, but the numbers just look too good right now to ignore that he's just a touchdown away from a really good day for you.
Yeah.
So he has a decent schedule for wide receivers the rest of the way too. So he's a decent pickup for the long term. We're not talking about a short term. We usually don't give you a short term. One week kind of starts on our waiver wire stuff, unless there's just somebody that's just too juicy of a matchup and sitting there with no rostering. So
yeah.
All right, let's hit it up with finish it up here with our tight ends. What do you have, Justin?
Well, you had a Jacksonville Jag, and now I need a Jacksonville Jag. But this is a guy, Dan Arnold, that's been on our list quite a few times now. 22% rostered. He has led the team in the last 2 weeks in targets, catches, and yards. He's still not being recognized out there because, 1, he plays for the Jags, and 2, he has not caught a touchdown yet this year.
Yeah.
Well, now let's not forget, he's been with the Jags for probably 5-6 weeks now, I think it is, somewhere around
I think
that
so.
range.
So, yeah, 4 or
Somewhere
5
around that
maybe.
range.
Yeah.
But you do see the connection with Trevor Lawrence. And, well, funny enough, he did make a lot of his yards up with C.J. Beathard on just a noodled arm throw out there. But anyways, he has shown a good connection with Trevor Lawrence. The Jags play the Colts this week, which is a good matchup for Hey Arnold. The Colts actually struggle with hyper-athletic tight ends this year. Darius Leonard, one of the greatest linebackers out there, he's filling up the stat sheet, but he is very limited speed-wise right now because of his ankle injury, and he's getting exposed down the field in passing defense. So I think that's something, if they're smart, they're going to try to expose that. This could be the week that Dan Arnold finally gets into the end zone as a Jacksonville Jag. And, you mentioned Jamal Agnew. Marvin Jones has really kind of fallen back down to earth. Laviska Shenault has not taken that extra step. So maybe we have the 2 waiver wire guys that you can actually think of in a pretty pass heavy offense right now with James Robinson on the mend.
But I would expect Robinson to be back this coming week, actually.
I hope so.
So I think that's going to slow it down just a little bit. But I'll tell you, look, even before he went down, this shift was already occurring. Marvin Jones had already kind of fallen away a little bit. And, I think a lot of people went out and got him. And I think we even recommended people go out and get him when Chark went out. So, and I still believe that Jones is a volume guy who's going to be fine. But it's kind of shifted right now just because it's hard to expect anything out of Trevor Lawrence more than what is, available right now. And that is, he's going to target the close guys, and that's going to be Agnew, who was in Chenault's role, and who was also heavily targeted before. And he's going to probably target the running backs, and he's going to target the tight end. These are just the close to the line kind of games, and they want to do quick stuff, get it out of his hands fast, slow the game down for him. And then eventually you'll start seeing him pick things apart and push the ball down the field a little bit. But he needs those things to work, and that's why you can capitalize right now on it. So I think it's a great idea. All right, for my tight end, I've got one that I don't really understand why he's rostered as low as he is. That's Logan Thomas. Everybody knows this guy's name. We go from Jamal Agnew, the Who, to Logan Thomas, the Who doesn't know his name, right? He's only 53% rostered right now, which is extremely surprising to me. I would expect, knowing that it seems or sounding like he's going to be back this week, and his rostering is probably a little low because I think they were on bye this last week, so that's probably a little bit, but I would still have expected him to be closer to 70% or more, but he's just not there. So he's expected back this week, like I said. He needs to be rostered pretty much everywhere. This guy's got elite tight end one written all over him, right? He has every reason to be a tight end one the rest of the season, and I just don't see that slowing down for him. This offense needs him to be effective. The running game has not been very effective. It's very banged up. This whole team is very banged up. The only issue is that he could see some reduced volume as he starts back into the lineup. But, as much as you always hear this warning, it usually turns out to be nothing. Like they just, they're like, oh yeah, he's going to be on a pitch count. And then he gets like 30 targets, or the running back gets the ball like 50% of the game.
It's like 80% of the snaps or something like that. Yeah, that's not a real pitch count for a tight end.
No. And, look, hey, Ricky Seals-Jones has looked really good. Pretty good in replacement time. But I don't think it's enough to eliminate what Logan Thomas really brings to the field. He is on another level at the tight end position. I think that you're looking at a guy who could fully emerge as elite going forward the rest of the season. I think this is somebody that if you're in a keeper league or you're in a dynasty league, you want to acquire him or put him on your bench somehow if you can, or have him in your lineup, whatever it takes, because this is a guy who has the potential to be elite going forward, and I think that you really want to make sure that you have him on your roster. All right, guys, that's going to do it for our wide receiver, our waiver wire pickups for week 10.
It was mainly wide receiver.
Mainly half of 50% wide receiver waiver wire pickups on week 10 here. But you know what? You're looking at a lot of banged up players. You're looking at a lot of just not a whole lot out there, not a lot of depth. Most people are looking for running backs, I would say, at this point in the season. Yeah. And I think we've got a couple good ones here. I think that Jordan Howard is a very sneaky pickup. And I think that Ramondre Stevenson is a great depth player at this point. At some point, Bill Belichick is going to decide that he needs to split the carries a lot more because we're getting into cold weather. We're getting into other issues of like injuries and other things like that. So Belichick knows what he's doing. He likes to be a defense first team and a running team as well to get the clock going. So I like that as well. I think we got some good selections here. All right, guys, that's it for week 10's waiver wire pickups for fantasy football. Hopefully that helps you. If it hasn't, well, I guess you're out of luck. And you're going to have to, leave a note down below asking us for some questions, because, just throw that hand up. And we'll give you all that help that we can. All right, guys, that's going to do it for today, and we will see you next time when we're talking about our Thursday Night Football breakdown. Talk to you later. Bye.
See ya.